In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you something that is extremely important when you're dealing with creating logos or going to print and other such things, and that is outlining your text. Now, what does outlining your text mean? When you type in a font, your computer has that font file installed on the computer, and it knows how to create the shapes for that particular font. So our fonts come standard with things like Arial and Times New Roman, and most computers have that. But let's say you're using a specialty font that you either created yourself or downloaded. That's not going to be on every machine. So let's say you take your file to print and they don't have your font installed and you didn't provide the font file for them. Their computer's going to just substitute a different font for them. So what you need to do is you need to outline your text, which means it takes your text, which is usually a font, and it turns it into artwork. It creates paths and anchor points, and at that point you can manipulate those paths and anchor points. You can change the look and feel of the individual characters if you wanted to. So let's see how this works, and maybe it'll make more sense when I do it. So let's outline this text. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select my text. I have the phrase selected. I'm going to go up to Type, Create Outlines. Now, did you see what happened there? As soon as I clicked that, it's no longer text. I can't grab my text tool anymore and come in and edit this. It now, let me zoom in a little bit, has a series of anchor points and paths. It is now artwork. I could grab my direct selection tool now and I can select individual paths and I can begin to manipulate this font. I don't want to do that at this point. When it's text, I undid that a few times so you can see. This is text here. If I grab this and double click on it, I can begin to type more text in there. Now, to show you one more time what happens, I'm going to use the quick key function. So I have my text selected. I'm going to hit Command Shift O, and it now has outlined that text, and I can begin to edit it. Again, let's zoom in. You can see each of the individual anchor points and paths. So this is something very important. As you begin to play with it, you can see the power of it. You could type in a font. Let's say you're doing a logo for someone that is Mount Everest Plumbing or something like that. And let's say you wanted to do a logo with the letter M and E inside of a circle or something like that. But you didn't just want a standard font. What you could do is you could type out the font and then get your direct selection tool and your pen tool and other such things and start to manipulate that font and make it your own and start to create something that looks a lot different than what was initially typed. So very, very important tool there. Make sure you remember that and that you use it often, because it is very helpful when you take things to print. You can just outline it and it becomes very user friendly for the printer at that point.